Hi, Jeff Barber here for RC Universe, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new Seagull models DeHavilland Mosquito. This is a fairly large twin engine model. This one I've got set up for electric power. I've got two Electrifly Rimfire 60 brushless outrunners, two high-tech 80 amp Energy Sport ESCs sporting high-tech electronic gear throughout, Optima 9 receiver from high-tech, and some 5485 HB digital sport servos. Now this airplane sitting in front of you right now has 6 of the high-tech HS 5485 HB standard deluxe digital servos in it, and I've got 2 high-tech Metal Gear servos on the Retracts. The Retracts are a little bit different throw than your standard Retract servos, so you got to have servos that you can set up your endpoint adjustment on. For power, I'm going to be using a Flight Power 6S 4350 milliamp battery, hoping to get 4 to 5, maybe even 6 minutes of flight time out of it. We'll see how that goes when she gets out in the spring. It's got a really nice hatch on top for your battery changes. As I said, it's twin engine or twin motor in this case, and there's some really cool features that we're going to be going over. So without any further ado, I'm going to get out from in front of the camera, get behind it, and walk you through what's special about DeHavilland Mosquito from Seagull Models. So one of the first things I want to touch on is the large removable hatch for changing batteries, and that includes removing the threaded antenna. So that's just a machine thread bolt. So that comes out, and then you got a nylon bolt here, a thumb screw, as you might have it, to loosen, and then the whole top comes off. As you can see, it's a full depth cockpit, and the cockpit does include, you've got a pilot, a seat, and a scale instrument cluster. Seagull's really getting a lot better about putting the right instrument panels in each machine or each model that correspond a little bit better than what they've had in the past. So that helps make them a little bit more scale for all you scale enthusiasts. Now inside, with the hatch off, you can see that there's a lot going on in here. Battery placement is real critical due to the fact that that full depth cockpit is in there. You can see I've got my battery underneath the wing joiner tube. Elevator and rudder servos are behind, and we've got the receiver up front here. Now you'll notice that I've got some 12 gauge silicone wire here, and both of these are plugged into one adapter. This way I can run both ESCs and motors off of the single battery here. It's a T-plug, Dean style T-plug, 1 into 2, and then those wires go right into the wing and out to the speed control, which is mounted on the bottom of the motor mount or the engine nacelle. We've got some more scale details up front. We've got some simulated machine guns. There's an LED light in the front, so if you like to run some lights on your airplanes, we've got an LED on the nose. And also out on each wingtip there's an LED light, a white light, embedded inside that cover. Now this is quite a sizable aircraft, and it really does have a good look here sitting on the bench. I can't wait to get it out and fly it. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen quite yet. We got to get through winter here in Minnesota. But show you a little bit more. On this one, we're running, like I said, we've got the Rimfire 60 brushless outrunners. We got high-tech 80 amp Energy Sport speed controls, and then we're running the Falcon 12x8 Beechwood electric propellers. Now going along with those lights, LED lights that are installed in the nose and the wingtips, we've got this battery holder and a Y harness that I made up. It's actually 2 Y harnesses that are glued together, and I've got wires plugged in for the 2 LED lights on the wingtip and the one in the nose. And I just made a simple plug-in connector, used a binding harness plug, And I just plug that in like so, and it will light up the lights. The wings are held on with 2 nylon bolts, one in the front and one in back of the wing joiner tube. And you'll notice inside, even though it's a rounded fuselage, it's flat or square inside, which makes building and attaching things very simple. The nose cone, as well as the engine nacelles, are all made from fiberglass. Very nice work, looks pretty good, and they seem to be very sturdy. And as I said before, it's got the machine guns in here, and the machine guns are actually glued to apply support behind the nose cone, so they're in there pretty well. Now moving on, we've got several options. As I talked about, we've got lots of servos in here. One of the things that we've got is a split flap setup, and I'm just going to move them manually, but you'll see that the flap inboard and outboard of the engine nacelle move together as one. They are actually connected from the factory, so none of that you have to do. That's all taken care of. You'll also notice that all of the covering and all of the paint is a matte finish, so you're not going to find any gloss, shiny surfaces on the covering or the paint. Looks a lot more realistic that way. Now all of the hinges throughout the airplane are a pinned style hinge. You'll notice no CA hinges. They're all run with a pin. So they're a lot more scale looking. Same thing on the tail, elevator and rudder. You'll notice as I turn that, there's no CA hinges. It's got a steerable tail wheel. As you can see, moves. And it's also sprung to help take some of that shock when you're landing. We also have some really nice features on the landing gear itself. The landing gear is sprung. Takes up some of that shock if you have a less than ideal landing. It's pretty cool stuff. Okay, so here's a close-up of the actual Retract servo installation. The servo is first attached to the plate. The plate is then attached to the engine pod, which is glued to the wing. Now I wanted to show you this action, how it works. It's a little bit different because the throws are set up a lot different than a standard Retract servo. But you'll get the idea here. I'm just going to run it through its full motion, and you'll see that the Retract drops into place. Because it's a digital servo, you'll hear a little bit of a hum from it, but that's no big deal. It's doing what it's supposed to. You'll see that the throw is a lot less than a standard Retract servo, which would be closer to 180 degrees. The ball links come with the Retract. The Retract is a very nice all aluminum unit, and it's got the 2 struts that give the Mosquito its distinct look. Again, I'm going to open those back up for you. And you'll see how nicely they work. That's pretty cool, guys. Now I've zoomed out a little bit and you can see the flaps. Got the inboard and the outboard flap. Again, like I said earlier, they are connected, but I'm just going to run them through a cycle, and I've got them on a 3-position switch so that I can go full up, half, and then full down. So there's my half setting, and there's full. And through the high-tech Flash 7 transmitter, I can slow down that servo speed so that they look a lot more scale. And I did that with the Retracts as well, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Let me get that flap back up. So here you can see both landing gear are in the down or landing position. I did a little research by watching some videos online of the Mosquito, and I did see that it's very rare that the landing gear comes up and goes down at the same speed. So what I did is went into the settings again on the Flash 7, and I set up the retract servos on separate channels, linked, and program them together, and I set them each with their own servo speed, so that when I put the flap or put the retracts up, you can see that one moves faster than the other, giving it a more scale appearance. There's the flaps again, and there's the retracts. You'll notice that one comes back down and then the other. These are just a few of the cool things you can do with some programming on your transmitter. Pretty neat stuff. So here's just another view, and I thought I'd give you guys a little more treat just so you can see the flaps in action. There's the half and the full setting. They drop nice and slow, go back up nice and slow, makes it look a little more scale. And then just another look at the landing gear. You can see how nicely that moves up and down. Pretty darn cool. That's going to pretty much wrap it up for this part of the review, part 1. And just a couple of things I wanted to touch on before I sign off here. And wingspan on the Seagull DeHavilland Mosquito is 80 inches. It is 58 inches long. And for weight, we came out at about 14 pounds, 4 ounces. And that includes the battery, which is about 2 to 3 ounces heavier than what Seagull had on their website. But you know, that might have been me using a little more epoxy than they might have. It's pretty easy to add an ounce of weight here or there. I did get it to balance without adding any extra weight, which is kind of nice. If you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them. Just leave your question here on the YouTube channel. You can leave them in the comments section, or you can leave a question or concern on the review on RCUNIVERSE.COM. If you're looking for this airplane, it will be available from Skyshark RC here in the United States. They're based in Florida. Great people, Mike and Angela Gray. They're awesome. Go down, check them out. They got a great website. International customers, you're going to have to take a look and see what you can find for your country as far as a distributor. But Seagull has distributors around the world, and they're doing a good job getting their product out to everybody that wants one. If you want to take a look at the airplane on Seagull's website, that would be seagullmodels.com, and go out, take a look at it, and enjoy it. Hope everybody picks one up for themselves. It's a great airplane, looks really scaled. It's big, should be easy to see in the air, and as an electric, it's going to make a great twin. You don't have to worry about one engine dying or anything like that. So get out and grab yours. Have a good one.